how can I recover mentally after a big loss?
Any significant setback in life and in trading can wound our pride, our confidence. This is completely natural. And it may sound tacky, but it's really not. The first principle of responding to this is self-care and self-compassion. Everyone makes mistakes. It's not anything that you are especially bad at. It's just that it happens. It happens to everyone. You need to be in physiological and emotional balance. Before you hit trade, you can also do, if you've got time and it doesn't need to last long, you can do progressive muscle relaxation.
How do I control my emotions whilst trading?
The first thing traders can do is bring awareness to the emotion, not just mentally, but also physically.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Ola Prime podcast. Today, we're joined by our performance coach, Stanislava Puach. Well, she's got 15 years of experience in psychology, education, and coaching. It's an absolute pleasure to have her on. She helps traders develop focus, emotional balance, and resilience using evidence-based tools. Currently training in family system psychotherapy, Stanislava also holds certifications in CBT, REBT, mindfulness, assertive communications, and more. Her holistic approach bridges psychology and wellness, empowering long-term personal and professional growth. So, what a bio. Stanislava, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
Very fine, thank you.
Awesome, good to hear. So, Stanislava, we went to our went to our funded traders or our clients, our traders, and we asked them what are the biggest pain points you have when it comes to psychology and trading. And we got loads of replies, loads of people answered us, and there were a few questions that kept popping up. So we
Mhm.
made a quick list of, the most popular ones, the ones that people seem to have the most issues with. And well, since you're a professional, we're going to ask you those questions, and hopefully you can give some really good answers and help our traders in overcoming some of these pain points. So we'll get straight into it.
Mhm.
The first question was very simple. How do I control my emotions whilst trading?
Well, simple question, but the response is actually quite complex. And but I will try to summarize it. Although this is where coaching steps in precisely because emotional control is something that you need to learn, practice, and it takes time to make it your other nature. But in trading, and especially, it feels like a roller coaster. It's thrilling one moment, stomach churning the other. So the first thing traders can do is bring awareness to the emotion, not just mentally, but also physically. Check your body, check your mind.
Mm,
Labeling emotions isn't just a technique. It's a way to actually engage your prefrontal cortex and downregulate amygdala, so you can actually create a pause before you react. So you don't just react. You are not in that reactive stance, but you can actually proactively plan your activities. So when you notice your heart racing, silently note to yourself, okay, this is anxiety, this is excitement. That kind of metacognitive step back grants you distance. And
right.
then you can implement brief interlude. You can set a 30-second timer, for example, or stand up, stretch, or you can actually do deep breathing. I don't know if our traders are familiar with that, but there are a few simple, easily remembered instructions. Try box breathing, for example. So 4 counts in through your nose, four
Mm,
counts you hold the breath, 4 counts out through your mouth, and 4 counts hold again. This is simple, easy to remember, and it actually does physiologically change which brain function is dominant at that moment. So it's not just a phrase people say, take a deep breath. It actually changes your physiological state and gives your prefrontal cortex dominance so you can make conscious, planned decisions. You are not just reactive, you actually proactively pick your moves. So
wow.
these simple self-regulation practices recruit top-down control. They give you space to not be as a you probably heard that term lizard brain.
Yeah.
That's amygdala, and it is a phrase being thrown around, but it does tell us that we respond immediately without much thinking. And we do have cortex that can actually make better choices. So we do want to create the distance from the emotion by recognizing it and doing these simple exercises. And then you control your impulses. That
Wow.
would be the simplest way to make a new habit.
Yeah. I mean, I find that fascinating. Like the deep breathing, I never knew that it actually has a physical or like a
Yeah,
actual change. I thought it's just
it's
more
just something
oxygen,
people
just
talk about.
makes
Yeah.
you
No,
feel better.
actually,
I don't know.
it activates parasympathicus, which is our calmer self, let's say it like that. So you are not uh, ex- overly excited. You actually
Mm,
can think through your moves.
that's incredible. I will definitely because like you said, deep breathing. Lots of people always say it, but I've
Hmm.
never actually taken the advice on board because I just thought, well, I mean,
Yeah,
how much of a difference will it make? But if it's
exactly.
what you're saying really blew my mind because
You
you're
do
telling
three
me,
of those, and actually you create that switch in your neural system. So yeah, you
wow,
do want to. It is a habit that takes time to build. You
yeah,
need to be consistent, and of course, when you're heated up, it's highly unlikely you will say, "Okay, I will now take a few deep breaths." But yeah, it does help when you understand it, like you said, as something that has scientific proof.
yeah,
Then you might be motivated to do it.
wow. I'll definitely put that in my
Great.
routine if I'm ever if I'm ever stressed, not just trading wise, just deep
Yeah,
breathing.
wherever, yeah, in parenting too, whatever.
I can imagine.
Take a few deep breaths, yeah.
That's really awesome. Um, we'll move on to question two,
Hmm.
uh, which is why do I keep breaking my trading rules? Now, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, yeah, we do keep breaking our own rules, not just in trading, but uh, here, if we focus a bit, there are probably two cognitive dynamics that can explain this. One is loss aversion, and the other is recency bias. Loss aversion, actually, we none of us wants to lose or experience negative emotions, pain,
Yeah,
whatever. And this is perfectly natural and normal. But in these kind of complex activities, it drives us to make wrong choices because we cling to positions we believe will prevent that loss. So we don't cut off the dead weight or we don't change our strategy because we are actually afraid of entering loss. And that other cognitive mechanism, recency bias, it convinces us that some fresh win we just had somehow guarantees our next decision will be flawless. It's a cognitive distortion. We are all prone to that. But in trading, right, it can cost you a lot of money. So, of course, one other thing that makes this worse is if you are stressed, fatigued. All of that, again, destabilizes your neural system, and then your self-control reserves are depleted.
yeah,
So what we can do with that is intentionally schedule a mid-session check. You can even name it midway self-scan, whatever. So you have that on your schedule, preferably early afternoon, because there is a performance dip at that point. That this is a longer story, but we have made a lot of decisions by that point, and our ego is depleted. So schedule check on your calendar, daily calendar, and then pause when you have that predetermined break and ask yourself, okay, let me check. First of all, am I tired? Am I stressed? Do I need that break from the last question? Do I need to calm myself down? And then check your plan. Have I followed my signal criteria? Do I feel under pressure to make some decision? Just objectively re-examine your strategy, your moves, whatever you are doing, knowing that you might be actually prone to these cognitive distortion. If any of those answers flags, this is the moment when you step away and recharge.
yeah,
When you frame that as a moment of intentional self-care, you will be more inclined to maintain consistency, and this reinforces self-efficacy over time.
Mm. Very good, very good. And I absolutely agree with you because
Hmm.
as a trader, I've gone through all those emotions
Hmm.
too many times that I care to admit. And I almost feel trading amplifies
Hmm.
these really negative emotions. And I'm not entirely sure why. That's the weird thing. There's something
Hmm.
about trading that switches something on in your mind that makes
Uh-huh.
you do some of the most silliest things, even though you know the answers, you know what you should be doing.
Uh-huh.
You want to break the rules
Hmm.
almost.
Hmm. Interesting, yeah.
And it takes a lot to overcome that. And I've never found anyone who could overcome it within like a month or two.
Sure.
It's a long, long process.
None of these are quick fixes. These are
Yeah,
just tools you need to implement regularly, and only then you can maybe make a long-term change. But this, what you said, it might be a good topic for the whole podcast, because, as you said, it is a complex question, and
yeah,
a lot of factors actually feed into that unlogical and illogical or unstrategic moves. So
yeah,
it is something to talk about, or again, one-on-one coaching is the way to explore those
yeah.
paths, what it means for you in particular. This is where individual approach might work better.
100%. I totally agree with you. And I
Hmm.
really like the advice of the self-check
Hmm.
because sometimes you get such tunnel vision
Yeah.
when you're stressed and you cannot see the most obvious things. Your eyes
Hmm.
almost become blind to what's right in front of
Yeah,
you. And it's only once you're out of that situation do you look back and
exactly.
you think, why the hell did I do that?
Yeah, yeah, you need to
And
step away and see
yeah,
objectively yourself, your decisions, market, whatever you're looking at. You really need that distance.
absolutely. Really good stuff. We'll move on to question three,
Mm-hmm.
which was, how can I bounce back from a losing streak? Another very good question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, a series of losses, of course, can feel personally threatening. And this is probably where we get to or connect to your comments to the last question. Maybe some of ego is at play, of course. You may feel like market is out to get you, but of
Yeah,
course, from a psychological perspective, again, we go back to it. It might sound repetitive, but it is not. It's that important. Taking step back and a break can help you restore your cognitive resources and restore emotional balance. So if you have had some kind of losing streak, something probably isn't off with your strategy, but you are probably in a place where you cannot make strategic decisions cold-headed. You really need to pause for several hours, or if possible, for the full day. Just end it for that day and actually engage in totally different activities, restorative activities, whatever works for you. Go for a run, hit the gym, read a book, prepare some dinner, something totally different where you really just detach yourself from trading, because this is where you reduce emotional charge.
mm,
It also can interrupt conditioned stimulus response loop, because when you are at the computer in it, as you said, tunnel vision, you are constantly in the loop where it just you dig yourself deeper and deeper. When you step away, you break that learned association between market losses, which are the stimuli, and your automatic negative emotional reactions. So you just give yourself a break and step away. With time, the emotional conditioning diminishes. So you can actually respond to market cues more flexibly with greater regulation. You are the one making those moves. So and the other thing, when you return, I don't know if traders, I would advise every trader to have trading journal. So
mm.
you can actually objectively review what you were doing and also add those feelings or bodily signals to that journal, so you can follow, as you said, avoid that moment where you lost yourself and you're just responding to whatever happens around you. And when you come back from that break, review that journal, examine each loss, and analyze it. Was this an authentic signal that failed, or did I deviate from my rules, what happened? Many setbacks actually stem from self-inflicted deviations.
Yeah.
And when you do restart, do it with minimal stakes. Don't go big. Like when you sprain an ankle, you won't lift 50 kilos the first training after that. So you will start gradually with lighter exercises. So try some risk risk-free or low-risk moves when you do get back, so you can rebuild that confidence and strengthen trust in your decision-making system.
Absolutely. Again, 100% agree with you in everything you said. Walking away is, especially after a losing streak,
Hmm.
as difficult as it is to walk
Hmm.
away,
Hmm.
it is the only viable option in that
Yeah.
moment.
You need to recognize the moment where you just need to cut your
Yeah,
losses and step back.
100%, 100%. Until you can actively do that,
Mm.
on a hopefully not a consistent basis, because hopefully you don't lose consistently. But
Yeah.
if you can actively just walk away when
Hmm.
it's not working for you, um, the changes in your P&L and your overall trading profits is so drastic.
Hmm. Hmm.
Trading is not always about making money. It's sometimes just about not entering. Not
Yeah.
trading is a way
Yeah.
of uh,
Yeah, you need to
securing your money.
recognize that too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
this works in everyday life too. When you're in an argument with someone, with a friend, with a partner, again, that amygdala takes over, and it is proven that you need 10 to 15 minutes of pause from that argument to cool down. So
Yeah,
yeah, to take a walk around the block. When you come back, you will be another person, and that other person also. So because again, you go back to your civilized self and not that lizard brain that dictates what you do. So the same applies to all affect-laden situations in your life.
yeah, 100%. And calling from experience, I remember, when I kind of started out, when I did have losing streaks, you're absolutely right. It's usually because you do break
Hmm.
some rule.
Hmm.
And I remember I used to almost justify breaking rules because if I completely followed my rules and the trade didn't work out,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't
Hmm.
like the fact that it almost removes hope from that
Yes, yes.
strategy.
Yeah.
And if you broke a
Hmm.
rule, you can kind of almost excuse yourself. Oh, well,
Hmm.
it was because I broke a rule, so the
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
strategy is fine. And
Fantastic. That's a
sometimes don't want to
fantastic
confront that.
insight. Being aware of that, that's great insight because not everyone would recognize their motivation, why they did something like that. That's perfect because then you know what you're doing. You can then deal with that fear of maybe the safe bet wasn't safe, or maybe my evaluation was wrong. So what to do with that if I cannot evaluate? So these are legitimate fears and anxieties, but you can look them in the eye and actually deal with them, improve once you recognize that this is what moves you to break your rules.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really fantastic stuff. I hope the viewers are jotting down as many notes as possible. We'll move on to question 4 because we do have 10 questions. Hopefully, we can get
Hmm.
through all of them. If we can't, we'll do another part 2 of
Hmm.
this video.
Gladly.
Um, Question 4: how do I deal with the fear of missing out?
Hmm. Well, fear of missing out in general, right, arises from social comparison and the urge to chase uh, opportunities. In this case, what looks profitable in hindsight. So it's actually kind of rooted in scarcity mindset because you feel that opportunities are limited. And it's not unusual to feel that way. I think that marketing nowadays even promotes that mindset. So you go and chase that discount and things like that. But instead, try to adopt abundance mindset or recognize that well-matched opportunities will reappear. And of course, as usual, quality is primary to quantity, not and this is what drives long-term success. So when you feel that itch to jump in, again, try noticing what drives you to do that. And even if you are physically aroused, are you excited? Are you anxious to catch that chance? Do you breathe shallowly? Is your jaw clenched? Notice those bodily signals and then ask yourself, is this decision aligned with my setup, or I just made it up because something jump at me? This question actually shifts your focus from emotion to criteria to objective data. If your answer shows that it is a misalignment, then just let that urge pass. You can go back to those self-regulation activities, stretch, do a few push-ups or whatever. Just let that urge pass. And over time, you are creating, when you repeat this, you are creating a new habit, a new mindset where you reflect instead of impulsively acting when you see a potential break. This also creates emotional resilience because you will be feeling that urge to do something, but when you teach yourself that opportunities will reappear, and you will see that with time, you will have confirmation for that hypothesis, then you gradually relearn your mindset.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you. FOMO is one of those. Every trader gets it. Um, and I think as well, it comes from a lot of traders. It's the feeling of potentially, it's almost as painful as losing money if you could have made
Hmm.
money, but you missed it.
Or maybe even more, right?
Right, yeah.
Like in
Sometimes
life,
it
you
hurts
have
more.
that conflict with two positives, or one thing is both positive and negative, and these are conflicts that create problems for us. But this is where we need to be analytical and not to succumb to that
Yeah,
emotional moment.
absolutely. There's always another trade. The market's always open.
Hmm.
Well, not always, but 5 days a
Yeah.
week it's open. So take your time.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next question.
Hmm.
How can I build confidence in my strategy?
Well, building confidence, yeah, it's a huge question, right? It's
Mm,
not just something that's related to trading, and it's not something that's an easy fix or something we do and click a button. But again, look at it as a long-term investment. It is a complex issue, so I will stick to one psychologist, Albert Bandura, who talks about self-efficacy. I
mhm,
think in trading, in business, this is probably the most valuable concept. And he says that there are four pillars of self-efficacy. The first is mastery. Uh, when you track every trade you made in that journal I mentioned, then you actually can see how you did, what you did well. We tend to usually, well, not all people, but most people tend to focus and remember mistakes. This
yeah,
is normal, and this is something we cling on, and we kind of forget or even completely falsely remember what we did well. So this is why that journal comes handy, because then you can see your reward to risk ratio, your successes, and every check mark then becomes one stool of that table, let's say you are building, that proves that you do have mastery and you do know your stuff. So this is the first thing you can focus on to start building confidence as a trader. The second thing you can do in Bandura's theory, it's a vicarious experience, but this is where you picture yourself in a group of traders, or you ideally connect with other traders. And then when you hear your colleagues succeeding here or there, or learning their strategy, this is where a voice inside you will whisper, okay, well, if she can do it, then it's possible, so can I. So this is one moment when, if you are in the group of your peers, you see them succeed, you will kind of get a bit of confidence that it is possible. You just need to learn more and or practice more. The third is social persuasion. This is where ideally you will have a mentor. If not, you will remember someone who taught you some of those skills you've got, and think of their voice saying, you've got this, remember that, you've got the edge needed for this. This nudge from a trusted authority will help you shrug off self-doubt and discipline yourself, keep moving on.
Yeah.
And finally, again, this is my favorite as a psychologist, but you need to be in physiological and emotional balance. Before you hit trade, again, go back to those steps we were talking about. You can also do, if you've got time and it doesn't need to last long, you can do progressive muscle relaxation. I don't know if traders know about that, but in simplest terms, you go through your entire body, starting from your feet up to your facial muscles, and you tense them strong as you can and relax. So tense and then relax. Each group of muscles, gradually you move up from your feet up to your facial muscles. This is another tool that actually physiologically releases stress and helps you think clearer. So in practice, when you incorporate these four elements, you gradually build that self-efficacy and by that confidence, of course.
Wow. I really like the last one. Again, something I never knew about.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be trying out some of these because I love these kind of I don't know. I wouldn't call them hacks, but little tricks
In
you
a
can
way, yeah.
make.
In a
Yeah.
way, yeah. And the only thing I've noticed with my clients and myself is this is something people tend to try two or three times, and then life comes in, and then all of a sudden you don't have the time. So
Yeah.
this is where you actually, ideally, you will schedule doing these. So
Yeah.
before you come back from your lunch break, then schedule, write down, I will do progressive muscle relaxation. You need that until it actually becomes a habit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Really good stuff so far. Question 6. How does one learn patience and not allow negative emotions like greed or FOMO to take over? So very similar to question 4.
Mhm.
I think you covered quite a lot of that, but if there's anything you
Let's
want to
run
add.
through any additional
Yeah.
uh, things we can say about this. One thing to know, patient isn't passive. It feels passive, but actually it's an active decision not to pursue something. So it actually requires a lot of energy.
Mm.
It's like resisting that sudden urge to buy something because it's discounted, the same thing. I actually had a client, it's unrelated to trade, but to a point, who told me once that she bought some concealer makeup that's like 5 shades lighter than her skin. I asked her, Why did you buy it? It was discounted." So, uh, yeah, patience and restriction is something you need to practice actively, so not succumb to those urges to act immediately. So this is where you sidestep noise and preserve capital. One additional protocol we can discuss is waiting protocol. You, for example, set a 10-minute timer. Some traders do that before you reevaluate any potential decisions. So this is where you allow yourself with some external helper to practice patience until it becomes again your second nature. And if after that interval your criteria align, then yeah, proceed. If not, you have managed to not act impulsively. Repeating this process is strengthens your neural pathways of patience, and this is where you become better with practice over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good stuff. Okay, I found the makeup one. Quite funny. But you're
True
right.
story, like 5 shades.
You're right. For a discount or,
It
for a
was
bargain.
it was discounted.
Yeah,
So
some people will buy anything as long as it's
yeah, this is where you need to really practice self-restraint.
absolutely. Question 7, how can I recover mentally after a big loss?
Oh, a big one, right?
A big one.
Well, any significant setback in life and in trading can wound our pride, our confidence. This is completely natural. And it may sound tacky, but it's really not. The first principle of responding to this is self-care and self-compassion. Everyone makes mistakes. It's not anything that you are especially bad at. It's just that it happens. It happens to everyone.
Yeah.
So again, try to at that point not respond with that urge to quickly fix it or do something because you're probably not in the emotional state where you can think clearly. So ideally, again, step away for that day, end it for the day if you can. Go for a mindful walk, talk to a trusted friend, maybe meditate. Just distance yourself from that and actually give yourself space to feel bad about it because that's
Yeah.
perfectly normal. And again, don't try. There is something in business where people try to fix losses by making unintentionally more losses. You need to recognize the point where you cut that dead weight and let it float away. This is that moment where you won't react logically. One thing that loss triggers usually are, again, cognitive distortions. So you might succumb to catastrophizing, thinking that this means I'll never succeed, I'm not cut out for that, or personalization, I'm such a failure, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot, and things like that. Overgeneralization, I always mess up. When you return from that break you made, intentional, your first job is to analyze those cognitive distortions, notice those thoughts, and actually evaluate them. Try to find arguments for those thoughts because that's the place you're starting at, but also ask yourself, what are the arguments against it? Do I really always mess up? Am I really not such a failure because I've been doing this for this and that time? It's been okay. So actually do examine those thoughts. And then once you have found some more realistic stance on what just happened, then you can analyze what actually transpired, what happened objectively. Were my rules crystal clear? Did I misinterpret a signal? Am I slipping into all or nothing thinking? What's been going on? What happened? Or did just something happened out of my control? So by being objective and impartial with this, you actually allow that not to be an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking I always mess up, try changing it into, okay, made an error this time. I can learn from it. I did it because now I didn't follow my rules or whatever happened based on that evaluation. This is where you actually are practicing cognitive restructuring. So that analytical stance turns failure into a learning experience, which is what you need if you are going to proceed with trading.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, it is tough having a big loss.
Of
But this
course.
is why I find journaling as well so
Mm-hmm.
effective because you begin to realize a big loss only happens when you break a fundamental rule.
Mm-hmm.
You're most
Yeah.
likely just risked too much money.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't ever happen because
Yeah.
if you're following risk management, there shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
ever be a big loss because you're out the
Mm-hmm.
market before it ever gets to that stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually something that theoretically is quite easy to fix.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, it's easy to fix.
Yeah.
You just don't break the rule. But
Yeah.
which is almost a good thing because if it was something that is very difficult, like
Mm-hmm.
something that like strategy based, where you have to be redo your whole strategy. If it was
Mm-hmm.
something completely different, that's actually harder. But if it's just psychological, where you simply stick to that rule, discipline,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you will overcome it, and generally speaking, you'll be okay.
Yeah, you said a great point. It's easy to fix on paper.
Yeah,
Exactly. By stepping away and analyzing it objectively, you bring it to that level. You bring it to that paper level. You are not reacting from your ego, from your emotions, from your excitement. You are actually looking at numbers, at rules, and at strategy. And this is where it is an easy fix.
yeah, 100%. Ego is a big one. You're
A big
absolutely
one.
right.
Of course, but yeah, traders do need that. It is kind of a drive, but you need to be aware of it and actually be in control, not to let it run
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
The next question, what should I do if I start losing confidence or doubting myself after a losing streak?
Hmm. Yeah, well, there are many things you can do with that. So I will try to um, outline them. But again, this is where one-on-one coaching is really efficient because it is something that needs more work. But doubt can, I'm sure you have that in your experience. If you leave it unchecked, it can spiral into paralyzing anxiety and something called learned helplessness, feeling that there is nothing you can do about that. There is always that insecurity. And from a psychotherapy standpoint, there are a few interventions that can be implemented. One is cognitive restructuring. We already mentioned that. This is where you identify your automatic thoughts and challenge them with evidence and reframe them. So I'm incompetent. You reframe into, okay, I struggled under pressure this time, but I have performed well in the past. I can learn from this experience and similar. Another thing you can do, we also touched upon this throughout our podcast, is behavioral activations. So you need to schedule small wins so you can see that reward and get some success so you can gradually re-enter with confidence, rebuild that confidence. Of course, there is always mindfulness and acceptance. You need to not be judgmental of your feelings, but simply recognize them. Okay, self-doubt, you're here. I feel this, I feel that, and let it pass because accept that it's going to be with you, but it doesn't need to control you.
Yeah,
Gently just refocus, accept it's part of the deal, but it's not anything alarming, it's not dangerous. I recognize you, and don't also feel bad for feeling that way because that's also something some people struggle with. Just refocus on your breath and on your present task.
yeah,
Of course, another thing you can do is self-compassion break. Uh, Try talking to yourself as if you were talking to your friend, so you wouldn't be that harsh on someone you know or a colleague. You surely wouldn't call them incompetent or not cut out for that. Do that for yourself as well because you also deserve to be told it's okay to struggle. I'm human. This is common humanity, and we need to recognize that yes, everyone experiences setbacks in various areas of life, and it's not that you're insanely bad at something. It is just that it happens.
yeah,
Of course, having peers and mentors also helps. So you can normalize your experiences, set probably some collaborative goals, have someone you trust talk to you about possible strategies and things like that. And of course, strengthen self-efficacy and confidence, as we spoke before. All of these things are some tools you can implement and gradually bring yourself up. But again, this is a long-term process, and there
yeah.
is a lot of possibilities what to do, how to help yourself, but it's hard to just respond to that question in a few points and have it all solved.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One-on-one coaching or mentorship as well is hugely
Yeah.
important. I feel it also helps you take responsibility of
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to disappoint someone else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
someone is
Mm-hmm.
saying, keeping track of you, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're breaking the rules time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
You're more likely to kind of stay disciplined because you don't want to disappoint
Yeah.
someone else as well.
That's where accountability buddy, for example,
Yeah,
comes handy because precisely because of that. We do sometimes need that accountability externally. Some of
yeah,
us can hold themselves accountable, but it does help. Or when you go to gym, sometimes people need someone who will wait for them at Wednesday at 10 a.m. and not miss their appointment. So this is the same.
100%, 100%. So we got two more questions, and they're very
Hmm.
similar. The next question is, how can I create a mindset that helps me treat trading like a business or a career rather than gambling? And the next
Hmm.
question is, how can I stop myself from making poor impulsive moves that go against my core trading rules. So
Hmm.
I feel like they kind of slot into the
Yeah,
same.
we can, yeah, start with
Yeah,
one and slowly progress to the next one.
sure.
That, yeah, gambler's mindset. It hinges on hope and luck. When you have professional mindset, this is where you are in business. You rely on planning and analysis. That's the core difference, obviously. So I would advise actually crafting a concise personal trading business plan where
Mm,
you outline your mission, capital allocation, risk budget, all of those logistical details, even subscriptions, software subscriptions. So you do actually a business plan, and you can on each Friday, for example, you can hold a short personal debrief, check how you did, whether you stick to that plan or not. Because when you frame your practice like running a small enterprise, you don't just randomly go through your days, but you are actually working towards system development and some long-term goal.
yeah,
And now, how to prevent those impulsive moves? As you said, this goes one thing to the other. Um, and we do actually make impulsive moves when we feel justified with, okay, just this one more thing to do, or just this move, especially when we are tired or stressed. So this is again where we go back to the first question of self-regulation. We can harness psychological principles. First, you can, very handy one, have specific if-then plans. So you actually can write down, if I see this or that, I will then do this or that. So this is where you have some sort of a plan, in cases you can predict. This will make self-control much easier.
mm,
And this can be a part of your, again, business plan. If I hit that point, I will then do this. You can also set up rules ahead of time that will help you. This is similar, that will help you react in a moment. So don't, for example, use those trading softwares available that lock changes after a set time, or we tend to stick to plans where that we made earlier. So
yeah,
this is where if we plan ahead, we can actually more easily control our moves. And try to also avoid ego depletion and burnout. You need to notice when you get overloaded, overwhelmed. And in those moments, try low risk moves instead of some big gambles. Again, go back to those mindfulness pauses and regulate your physiological state.
yeah,
You can even set up your workspace to support good habits, physically seeing your trading rules, printing them out, or use blockers to avoid distractions. All of that will help you stay in the zone and not be reactive.
yeah,
Accountability, we mentioned that. This helps you be consistent and avoid that moment when you are unreliable in a way. You will likely stick to your rules, of course. And the key is actually gradually building habits and routines, even both trading ones or psychological ones. So you can start your day with a short meditation, or make those pauses we talked about, those scheduled midway checks. This is where you need to, again, make a plan ahead and make it as visible and as in your face as possible. You want to see that because, again, you want to avoid that tunnel vision, as you said. When emotions start running high, you need some of those external anchors you can cling to, and okay, I have this set up in advance. I have this, and actually follow your own rules.
yeah,
I think that
100%.
this is where this summarizes it. Again, it's a long talk, but these are some of the tools we can suggest.
Absolutely. I love the trading business plan
Hmm.
idea, and printing out your rules and putting that's exactly what I did.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I wrote them down, but same thing. And
Yeah, that's even better. That's even better because you actually put more time and effort into it, so it probably stuck deeper than printing them out. So this is even
yeah.
better.
Oh,
That's why
amazing.
children were punished in the past, writing down those 10 I
Ah,
won't be shouting in the class or something like that. Because, yeah, you do spend some time with it.
absolutely. I can definitely see that. And it's funny because trading is probably one of the only industries where people want it as a career, are
Hmm.
serious about making it their full-time job or career,
Hmm.
but treat it nothing like a business or a career.
Hmm.
And it's almost, when you go to your 9 to 5 job,
Hmm.
if you treated it how beginner traders treat trading, you'd be out the door
Out.
in in the
Yeah, on
first day.
Tuesday you're
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah. Well, this is why self-discipline is so important because I am not in trading, but I've been a freelancer for 12 years now, and this is where you do need to think of it as a job and as a business because you are your own boss, so you don't
Yeah,
have anyone to supervise you. So yeah, this is very, very important.
absolutely. Stanislava, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for
Likewise.
sharing a wealth of knowledge, I would say. Probably I would recommend to people who watching this rewatch it. You might have
Rewatch
to
it
rewatch it a few times
with a
because there's
notebook and a pen.
exactly really absorb the information given here today because if you really take it on board and actively make the
Mm.
steps of actionable steps of taking on your advice, you will see a positive result in your trading. So really good stuff. Thank you so much, Stanislava.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll do more of these in the future as well.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. And thank you, the viewers, for watching. And if you want to see more of these videos, please do let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on channel notifications, share it with your friends, do all that good stuff as it really does help us out. And just before you go, if you go in the description down below, there's a join our Discord button. Go ahead, click it. It's completely free to join. And in Discord, you'll find exclusive competitions, live AMA sessions, even exclusive discount codes sometimes. So it's well worth joining and sharing your trading ideas with a community packed full of other traders. It really is helpful. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Stanislava, for coming on,
Thank you.
and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Ola Prime, trade with transparency.